M7 M8 junction. That's your latest traffic update.
And thank you very much indeed for that. Now, Tiglin, one of the country's addiction and recovery charities, has today launched a report titled Life Restored. It includes over 2,000 evaluations of Tiglin's addiction rehabilitation and aftercare programmes that were collected over the course of 5 years. So what can we learn from it? Well, joining me now in studio are Aubrey McCarthy, Chair of Tiglin, and former service user Owen Kavanagh. You're both very welcome indeed to the programme. I'm keen to hear your story, Owen, because I know you've come through the programme and that you're excelling now, and we'll talk to you in just a second. But Aubrey, I do want to talk to you about the report that was done over a 5-year period, I say there. What does it tell us?
Thanks for having us, Cormac. So I started Tiglin in 2008, so we're into 16 years of recovery, working with people with addiction. So over the last while, I've been on different radio stations or whatever, and I've been talking about anecdotal evidence. And I've been telling you about Owen or Mary, and I've been saying how their recovery has really, really worked. So what we did a number of years ago, we hired an external researcher, Janet Robinson, and she works in the area of social sciences, and she started to research the service users at Tiglin over a 5-year period. So she did a report based on 2,375 service users, and the evaluations were very positive, and it showed that what we're doing actually works. So now Cormac knows that I'm not bluffing, but there's actually results there.
And tell people, what are you doing that works?
So what we are doing is we are a continuum of care. So we start where the person is in addiction, and we work all the way through recovery, through transitional housing and aftercare, through education, and then trying to get the person back as a productive member of society into the workplace. Even Simon Harris, the Taoiseach, he launched the report for us at government buildings, and the government tweeted about it. Our website was phenomenally, it was under pressure because a number of women contacted the website saying they're in trouble. And so these are ordinary people out there. And what I've shown now over 16 years is that we can absolutely recover. The report is called Life Restored. And I believe, and I've proven through the Tiglin programme, that there is life beyond addiction.
Okay, and it's that continuation of care that really helps people. They put up the hand, they say, look, I need a bit of help here. And you work with the person to rehabilitate and recover and then excel like you have done, Owen Kavanagh. You're very welcome to the programme. And it's great to have you here. You're a former service user of Tiglin.
Yes.
How did you find it?
How did I find Tiglin?
Yeah, it obviously benefited your life. Definitely,
yeah, and not only mine, but people around me. I went into Tiglin in 2021. I came from prison straight into Tiglin. My initial, it wasn't all good. Intentions of going in, it was to get everybody off my back and I'll be all right for it. And but all that changed.
Once you got in there?
Once I got in, yeah.
Why were you going in there, can you tell me?
Like I said, just to get everybody off my back. I thought if I went in for a while, people would see that I changed, everything would be grand, and I'd get back home and things would be brilliant. But when I got in there, every day was a struggle, yeah. But it was a struggle that brought me to where I am today.
Were you struggling with addiction, no?
Yes, I was abusing alcohol an awful lot.
And was that instrumental in landing you in prison?
It was, yeah. It was a major factor behind why I ended up in prison, yeah.
And do you mind me asking how long you spent in prison? Or
well, that time was 13 months on remand while I was waiting for
and when you were then advised, or you were ordered, maybe, were you, I don't know, to go to Tiglin?
No, it was through the drug and alcohol awareness. A prison liaison officer, I knew her over the years, and she didn't let go. She was like a dog with a bone. She chased me. She didn't pressure me, but she always let me know that there was a door open and I could use whatever excuse to walk through that door. It didn't all have to be, I'm going in to change my life, but she let me know that there was a door there I could walk through.
How bad did the alcohol addiction get for you?
Very bad enough that I ended up in prison. I was drinking bottles of whiskey like they were bottles of Coke. Yeah, it brought me to very dark places within myself, through my mental health. My mental health really suffered.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was always darkness. There was no way through. I solely believed that I was the only person that felt like that till I went into Tiglin and started to realise and hear other people and realise that I wasn't alone.
And what was the difference, Owen? What was the difference? Because I know you went to treatment before Tiglin for alcohol addiction. So what was the difference this time, do you think?
I suppose I was a lot older. The first time I went to treatment, I was in my 20s, and I was actually 18, I think, the first time I went into treatment. But the first program I ever completed, it was actually a drug treatment. I was on drugs at the time. Now, I never went back on drugs after I left there, but I took on drinking then, The difference with Tiglin, I suppose, it allowed me to be me. I was angry. I was confused. And they created a space to allow me to be angry, allow me to be vulnerable. I suppose they encouraged me to be vulnerable. And the groups, I suppose, within Tiglin, when we spoke, the honesty in there, and to realise that I didn't hold the rights to pain and suffering and misery, that there was so much other people out there that felt the same.
It sounds to me, listening to you, and you're describing it really well, I think, but it sounds to me, listening to you, that Tiglin helped you deal with the alcoholism or alcohol addiction and the anger and the emotional issues.
I suppose you can take the alcohol away and in no time feel okay, but Tiglin also, if you just stay with the alcoholism and stop drinking, you're still left with a vulnerable person with all the traumas and life's struggles, I suppose, and it's to learn how to cope with them.
Yeah.
I mean, for me today, I still have the exact same problems and struggles that I had when I went into Tiglin. I just know how to cope with them a bit better.
Yeah. It takes some man, Owen, to come on national radio and speak as eloquently as you are about difficulties in your personal life as you have experienced. And I think that's maybe the greatest testament that I've read today or seen today of Tiglin's work. And I really mean that. How long are you sober now?
I suppose coming up on 4 years.
Are you?
Yeah.
And
I'm also happy.
Say again?
I'm also happy for that length of time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first time I suppose I can say I've really experienced happiness and freedom.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you mind me asking what age you are?
I'm 54. Be 55 in April.
So half a century almost until
yeah.
And life is good.
Yeah, life is great. I have my daughter back in my life. I have a great relationship with our mother. And yeah, life is great. I don't get up to cause anybody a hindrance. I get up to see, can I be a help?
I have one more question for you, but you rest on your laurels for a second. But I have a question for Aubrey, and I caught you looking across at Owen as he was describing his journey through Tiglin, and the pride on your face, I must say, and the happiness in your face to see your fellow human being doing so well. And I suppose that you could do more with more if you had more funding. Is that your message, I suppose, that you're trying to get out here?
Even today, the report, it's fantastic, and we're dealing with statistics. But the statistics mean nothing until you meet Owen, until you meet Jenny, who spoke with the Taoiseach today. And when you see that, you see, wow, these are individuals. These are somebody's son, somebody's daughter, mother, father. And now they have found that they can actually recover from addiction. And I know hand myself growing up in a family that was where we had chaotic addiction, and so I had a front row seat. So when I see Owen actually getting his life back together, being with his daughter, planning for Christmas, that's what makes this work. And as President Higgins was visiting Tiglin recently, he said Tiglin is a place where people who have had their participation in life disrupted for whatever reason, alcohol, trauma, well, they discover a new space and become full of hope and joy. And that's what the team at Tiglin do, and they do it well. But now we have evidence to back it up that our therapies, our continuum of care work. However, I will say there's one element that is lacking, and that's the detox element. So we've a waiting list for people coming into Tiglin on benzos, on different types of drugs, and we don't have enough detox beds to get those people.
How many beds do you have?
So we don't have any detox beds in our centres.
Okay.
And we're told that there is plenty of detox beds out there. However, we find that if we were funded, had that element, medical supervision, we could certainly complete the circle.
So you'd be a one-stop shop then. So what do people do if they want to detox? You send them away to...
So we work with the various hospitals to make sure they get detox. But then, once they get detox, they're on a waiting list for Tiglin. So if you can imagine, let's say Owen has got detoxed, then he's waiting on a bed. Well, we've a waiting list. So Owen now has come out of the detox and he's sober, and he has to ring in every day waiting on a bed. I mean, come on.
That's really difficult.
So the wheels...
I mean, the chances for relapse, if that's
high,
what it is, are...
very high.
Yeah, and that can really divert someone from their intention of getting sober or drug-free, whatever the case may be, and that sends you down a dark road for...
Hugely. I know with the Tiglin Men's Centre, I think there's a 4-month waiting list. So if you're in recovery and you've gone through detox, I mean, the odds of you lasting 4 months before you get in. So detox
that's your
is
call.
huge.
That's your call to government now. They're putting together a new government, as you know. So more funding is your call.
I think the programme for government, if they were able to complete the circle on a continuum of care for people in addiction, we have everything to play for, and I think you'd see real results, and you'd certainly see more owns.
Yeah. Owen, can I ask you finally? I know there are going to be people struggling with alcohol addiction, and it's a really tough time coming up to Christmas, as you know. What would you say to people who are struggling with, be it drugs or alcohol?
I suppose, like I said at the start, use anything that gets you through the door to ask for help, whether it's a lie or, whatever it takes to get you through the door. Get through the door. Because that's where the change will start. And you're not on your own. Regardless of how alone you might feel, you're not. There are people that genuinely understand.
Yeah. And you're proof of it. Looking forward to Christmas?
I am. I'm going to spend it with my daughter.
Look, have a great Christmas. And it's my genuine pleasure to meet you, Owen, and to hear your story, and you, Aubrey, as well. If people have been affected, they can contact Tiglin, of course, a simple Google search. You can also look up rte.ie/helplines. But Owen Kavanagh, thank you very much indeed. And Aubrey McCarthy, Chair of Tiglin, thank you as well.